everybody, it's Safi and Marco, dish out on the movies. And Marco's doing something I don't like. Wish he'd stop now. We are doing a review of last night's Masterchef episodes, and don't forget, they're doing 2 a week now, and I did see an advertisement. I don't know if it, because I watched another show later, and I don't know, for Hell's Kitchen. And that will be in, what was it, late September?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Marco always thinks of, when he thinks of the other show, the Hell's Kitchen show, he thinks of the fall, he says.
Masterchef is a summer show. Usually it would come on in the early summer and be done by the end of the summer. Hell's Kitchen is a fall show. Masterchef Junior is like a spring show, typically. So they're really off their schedule due to their laziness and, oh, we can't air an episode this week because the stupid president is giving a 15-minute speech about bullshit that nobody cares about. And it's like, well, that's just 15 minutes. You could have still aired the fucking episode. Like, seriously, that's just so inexcusable.
And this is Fox, too, and Fox and CBS and NBC, some of it. They do football games, and a lot of times the football games run over at least 15, 20 minutes.
Because it's
and they will go ahead and air the shows. They'll just say, well, out in the West Coast, it'll air at whatever time.
But you know what they're doing? They're basically saying that MasterChef isn't important.
Well, I really wish they wouldn't do that because
which is
I don't appreciate watching 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And it could be really good, but it just wears you out.
But it's like,
you're just trying to think of everything.
It's not important, but like, don't they want more viewers? Don't they want the show to be as popular as it once was? Like, it really doesn't seem like it. They're too focused on the gimmick. They think that because they have a gimmick that means that everyone will love the show again. They're not focused enough on making it a good show. And, I just feel like this is a real off-season. It's almost even more of an off-season than last year's season because there's basically no contestant that I like.
Well, I liked Adam, but I don't know.
He's not very good anymore.
Well,
he's
too
inexperienced.
Yeah, well, he's the youngest one, and I just thought, I don't know. You just never know how somebody can shine, no matter who they are. But he's off now, and these episodes here, what we watched last night, show that. But he still had the promise there in the background that there was somebody worse that they sent home that they didn't think has enough, I think, of a repertoire.
This is also another season.
It's really hard to say.
This is also another season where there's not really any good-looking food. Like, every single episode we watch, it's a cooking show. There should be some dishes that look really, really good. But I didn't see one good-looking dish last night. Safi, like, did you see any?
No.
I just thought, I don't
know what the deal is with filet mignon, too. They made it over and over. They've made it like 3 times. And it's not because the people chose it. It's like it was chosen for them.
Yeah.
I don't like that. And
I do like the tuna, though.
that's one thing I did. I thought that looked gross.
The seared ahi tuna. I had that before in California.
Well,
it was really good.
Covered in seeds like that?
No, it's a crust, Safi. It's a crust
like, seeds
with sesame seeds and other things, and it's really, really delicious if cooked correctly. And
those were sesame seeds?
Some of it.
It looked black.
It's a crust. It's a crust, Safi.
I didn't like it. I'm glad you liked that, but
But in general, like last season even, they have better looking dishes. So it really feels off. And it feels like, why is that, Safi? Because
I don't know.
They focused on the gimmick too much.
Well,
that person's a boomer. Are they going to be a boomer today? That person's a millennial. Are they going to millennial out today? Like, that's all they're focused on, and it shows.
Well,
and
I don't know.
all the people who said, I'm excited about the season because it's fun. It's like, it's not fun at all because there's a focus on this gimmick over actually the cooking.
Yeah, and, well, anyway, tonight, I'll just say what the titles are and
Well, why don't you
the number, but I'll say something. Well,
else
I do want to
too,
say
Safi.
something about the gimmick. That's why I wanted to lead into that.
Go ahead.
Well, the first one's episode 12. It's tag team. And the next episode, well, I'll just say it later when we get to that. But tonight, last night, it was the last night. There's no more groups.
Yeah, so that's also kind of a waste.
So the gimmick is gone.
Yeah.
They've gotten rid of the gimmick. And also, Rebecca, because she was the winner, she got to pick all the pairs for the tag team. Now, I have to say, this tag team challenge that they do every year, it is, I would say, one of the hardest things. Because I don't remember, maybe they have before where the winner of the last week picked the teams. I don't know who picked the teams before. I thought they did, the judges, but I don't know. I just don't remember. No matter who picks them, they're a challenge because she picked, I'll just say the teams that she picked, but you just don't know. You think something might be good, and it just turns out the worst, or something looks bad, and it turns out to be better.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't do a good job of picking out the teams.
No, she did not.
She did, but it either shows that she's a moron, which she is. She is, and
a boomer. I'll just say that because she's a loudmouth. I don't like her.
Or it shows that the contestants are just not very good, and it's just showing now because things are getting more advanced. And
well,
the
they also stand out more.
They're just not up to the challenge, you know.
Well,
you got Cornhole. She's weird. She's kind of like a monster.
But they did fine. Okay, I'll just tell you the teams. Okay, well, and then she picked her own team, and she thought she and the other girl, I'll tell you who it is in a minute, they were going to wipe the floor, I guess, with everybody else. And so they would both get immunity again because this is also the last night for immunity. So the next episode that comes up, I guess somebody will have immunity, the winner, and then there's no more. It's over. So anyway, the teams are Cornhole and Warren. And Cornhole, because we're still on this little group thing, she is a Gen Z, and Warren is a boomer.
She kind of looks like if they make another Ghostbusters movie, you know how in the original Ghostbusters you had that girl with the scary demon woman with the short haircut. Like, she kind of looks like she's related to her. So if they make another Ghostbusters, she could be the main monster in the Ghostbuster movie.
She has a great personality, but see, for her and Warren to be together, I mean, I think Rebecca thought she was going to pick a loser team. And then, I mean, everything she picked. Horatio,
he's the worst.
He's awful, but he's very, I just say he's unique. And he's with Daniela, and she's Mexican. He's actually Brazilian. So maybe they would go together better than they think. See, I don't think they were thinking about that. And Mert, or I call him Mudhead.
Dirt.
He's with, is that what his name is? Well, I just call him Mudhead.
His name is Dirt.
He's with Kamei. Kamei is the Washington, D.C. lawyer, and Mudhead is a dip. And the judges were saying how he's a big frat boy, and I don't get that at all. But anyway.
Really, Safi?
Yeah, then we have Jeet,
really?
Who's with Adam. And then Michael is with Kimberly. And then Rebecca picks Becca. And Becca is the loudmouth. I mean, it's funny, they're both loudmouths.
Yeah, both loudmouth biatches.
And Becca is a Gen Z, and Rebecca is a boomer. And I'll just say that. in case you just remember these people by what group they're in and not their names, but both of them are very loud, and actually the judges, again, they said they're both alpha contestants, and meaning really underneath that is they're both loudmouth, like they're
Karens.
better than everybody.
Karens.
And they're bossy. And
Amityville Karen.
Becca doesn't, I don't think she bosses, but she makes
Safi.
big proclamations
That would
about
be-
how they're Gen Z. She and Mert, or Mudhead, or whatever his name is, they both made all these terrible proclamations about the boomers,
But
how they're
Safi,
slow and stupid.
That would be a great movie to make.
What?
Amityville Masterchef.
Yeah, but I think because of the name, it's trademarked.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. They haven't done Amityville cooking show yet, so they could do that. They could have a Cornhole be the monster in the movie, and she kills everyone.
She's okay, and it's very interesting. I was thinking about her, and who else was it? Well, I guess maybe the guy she's with, Warren. Why are they there? I mean, Cornhole.
Whoa!
No, I mean really. Cornhole said she and her husband are competitive cornhole contestants. They go around the country and they participate in cornhole competitions, which I didn't even know there was such a thing. I know about cornhole. It was invented.
They're adults only competitions, by the way.
I don't know. I don't know what Marco means by that. But all I know is why is she doesn't. I mean, she's pretty good about picking out things to cook, as you can tell in this. She didn't do bad at all in these two shows. And then Warren, I don't know. I don't know how to. He's like a different drummer person. He's just like a man unto himself. You know, he's a boomer, so he's like off in the hinterlands, but he comes up with stuff.
He's
too.
like, you know, like in like a kids movie or something, where like there's a bike rider and they're riding their bicycles, they're delivering newspapers, and then there's that one storekeeper who throws them a piece of fruit or something. Like, that's like who Warren is. He's like the storekeeper guy in a movie who throws the newspaper boy a piece of fruit.
Well, I'm not saying either one is a bad person. I think they're both interesting. That's probably why they were picked. But it's funny because a lot of people who come on these shows, they have some kind of goal in mind. They want to have a restaurant, or they want to have a cookbook.
I don't really see a goal for any of the people on the show, actually.
But these two, especially, I don't know what they're doing there, except maybe to get the money, you know, to do whatever they want to do in their lives, like keep going to corn. I mean, who'd want to do that all your life? I don't think she would want. I mean, if she's a Gen Z, that means she's really young. So I wouldn't think she'd want to do cornhole competitions.
Her husband probably forces her to do cornhole competitions.
Well, I don't think anybody would force her, but still, the thing
sometimes
is,
you have to force. I mean, that's not. Cornhole is something that you have to force people to do. You can't. They don't just want to do it by themselves.
I don't know. Well, you can't do it by yourself. Unless you're practicing, then you have to go and pick up everything and come back to the start.
Yeah, you can.
But Warren, I mean, he's in the last years of his life. I know that sounds terrible, but I mean, I know.
God, Safi.
Well, I mean, I don't know what he unless he wants to do something for his retirement, or he really thinks he's going to go be a chef somewhere. I don't know. They haven't said anything. And sometimes, a lot of the times, they'll say all along, they'll say something. I've always wanted to be a chef. I want to have a restaurant. I want to do this.
Even the kids, the little kids, like at the beginning of the show, you'll have like a little boy and he'll be like, I want to have my own deli. It's going to be called Little Trey's Deli.
Or they want to have a food truck. That's a new thing in the last few years. So anyway, I guess we better move on. But
well, I mean, the episode, it's just okay. The teams did not work out well because Rebecca sucks and she doesn't know what to do.
Well, she did not get what she wanted. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was funny. It wasn't really a fun episode to watch because just no one really worked together very well.
No, and it was very stressful.
Yeah, it was just a big. In a way, it was like a master class in how not to work together on a team.
And this is called a tag team challenge. And like I said, it's the worst, hardest, most difficult because usually you just can't predict how these people are going to work together. So I'll just say what they had to make. First, before they started, no, wait, not this one, the next one, never mind. Chef Ramsay is going to cook a whole meal, but it's not for this one. So, but they are asked to make 4 dishes, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's way too many.
Yeah, like by Masterchef season 40, they're going to be making them cook like 20 dishes.
Well, I know, it's just ridiculous.
And it's like they're just trying to outdo themselves. Instead of trying to continue to like outdo what you did the last season, why don't you just have them try to make good food? Because like there's less of an emphasis on making good food now on MasterChef and more of an emphasis on like outdoing the last season.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I think that's a mistake because it didn't used to be like that on MasterChef. It was like a set competition that everyone goes through and you either make it or you don't. And now it just feels like they're trying to just keep on pushing it each season, and that's just not good.
Okay, so they have to make 4 dishes, which one was an appetizer, and I'm not going to say what all the ingredient things, I can't keep track of all that, but the appetizer, the main ingredient is mushrooms, which I'm not even sure how big the mushrooms were. I don't know if they could use different ones or they had to use the same one. To me, when I saw the dishes, which they didn't really show too much of a close-up, it looked like they all used different ones. In other words, they all weren't using the same kind.
The funniest part of the episode was, Safi, remember when Dirt was making the crepes and then he was trying to flip it up in the air and it fell into the burner? That was hilarious. Like, that is like a classic, like, moment of the show.
Yeah, but there was also another classic moment. He ripped his pants.
Oh, yeah.
That was different.
This episode didn't have enough moments like that, though. It was very serious, stressful, and the teams just were not good. Okay. I think too, like, it's kind of a mistake to choose teams that you think will be bad, because I think that it could have an even more detrimental effect if you chose teams of people who thought that they would work good together, and then they ended up having a bad time together, because then it would be like a huge, like, question to each person of like, am I really good enough to be here because I thought I would do really well with that person? You know, like, it would have been such a better idea to do that, in my opinion.
Okay, so then they had 2 meats, which I thought was asinine. Don't want to know the truth.
Yeah.
One was ahi tuna rolled in these seeds.
That's what I would choose.
Look disgusting and gross.
That's what a man would choose.
Marco, hush. And then a filet mignon with the sauce. And I have to emphasize, and don't ask me, I don't know, I couldn't keep track. Like I said, they had to be served with like a vegetable. And so, but it had to be certain vegetables with certain meats. So one had to have a, God, I hate this gross lettuce thing that, God, that's so disgusting. And then another one had kale. And then the other one had to have another thing, which I don't even know. Maybe
there was also a funny moment where the black woman mentioned that they left the kale at their station in a little deli container, and Gordon said, "Why'd you leave that there? Is that for a midnight snack?"
Yeah, I just thought that was stupid.
Like, what?
Yeah, right.
That was such an idiotic comment, because it doesn't even make any sense. Like, are either of them known for, like, eating their food too much and, like, not... Like, I mean, there's been chefs like that on MasterChef before, you know, who've actually... Like, they eat their food so much that they don't have enough to, like, I think...
Now, remember, well, for kids, too.
Mafia Don? Didn't Mafia Don do that? Or, no, the slob. The slob kid. He made those donuts for Matilda, trying to flirt with her, and, he ate all of them. Yeah, that was funny.
if you got that mixed up, which I don't know what had what, which meat had which side or whatever you want to call it, that would be considered a mistake. So I know the filet mignon had a sauce too. So anyway, we'll move on. Then they had to have a dessert, which is highly unusual. So it was a flambe.
Yeah.
And it had to have alcohol on it and be set afire. And so it's flambe crepe Suzette with chantilly cream. I think that's what the title was. So crepes, and then would you stop it? And then they had, since they were set on fire, flambe. That means they had some kind of a sauce with alcohol, and the alcohol gets burned off when they do the flambe. Then they had to have a chantilly cream, which is basically, I believe, like whipped cream with sugar, which I've made 1,000,000 times. I just call it.
I would give this episode like a B. I give this episode like a C+.
Well, don't you want to know how they did?
Oh, go ahead. But I already watched the episode, so I already know how everyone
Well, they
did.
don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, they do. That's why they're watching this review.
Okay, well, Michael and Kimberly won, and then out of the three, and like I said, Cornhole and Warren, they did fine. They did actually very well. I thought they were going to win, but they didn't quite match up to Michael and Kimberly. And Rebecca actually thought she was going to get Kimberly and Michael because she didn't think Kimberly could handle it or something. I don't know. She was making some kind of weird remark. And Kimberly said, I guess you made a mistake there. And then Horatio and Daniela. Now, we just said Horatio is a little bit of a dip. And he's all over the place. Well, they did mix up a little their plating. Remember I said those sides had to be perfect and had to be with the right meat? Well, they mixed that up. And the only thing she didn't know, she was like, what were they? I mean, she didn't remember.
Yeah.
And neither did he.
Yeah, she criticized him for not remembering, but she didn't remember either. So
yeah,
it was like,
I didn't like that.
Fuck you.
I know he's a dip, but she should have remembered if she thought it was important enough to remember. Then the other one was Mudhead.
Dirt.
And Kamei. Oh, wait a minute.
They did a bad job. Adam and the other girl did a bad job.
Adam and Jeet did a bad job. But Michael and Kimberly won, like I said. They were the ones out of the three pairs that did well.
Yeah.
They won. They both got immunity.
Who's Kimberly?
She's the one with the little voice, and was a teacher, I guess, maybe.
Little voice.
He's like about 6'5", and she's like my size.
What does she look like again?
She has long curly hair, and she talks like a little girl. She talks like a really sweet little girl.
But Danielle does that too.
No, she has some Mexican.
Oh!
She and Aron spoke Spanish together.
Is there a Kimberly on the show, Teresa?
Yes,
you lying?
Marco.
Well, I have to look her up because I have no idea who that is.
Okay,
so.
the bad ones, Mudhead and Kamei did terrible.
Yeah.
They overcooked meat. They screwed up everything, and they just didn't work together at all. And then
they didn't even try to, and that's another reason of like these contestants are so trash that they can't even like just work with each other to get through a competition. Like that's what you call weak cooks, or just weak people in general. Like can't handle it, like.
I don't know how they had something good about their food that they weren't too upset about, but they did overcook the filet, and there was too much sauce on the crepes. But it was over reduced. Like I'm saying, I don't know. And then Jeet and Adam were too timid. They couldn't. Neither one took a leadership role. And so they were
But the thing was that G India. Oh, I have no idea who that is, Safi.
She talks like a little girl.
Who is that?
That's Kimberly. Kimberly, Gen X.
Has
She's an English teacher.
Has she been on the season this whole season?
Yes, Marco.
That's who is she though?
Oh, for heaven's sake, she's real short.
She's not even been there. Like I don't.
Yes, she has.
Who is that?
Yes, she has. She's as short as I am, and he's like 6'5". But they worked really well together.
I don't know who that is,
And
Safi.
then Becca
I think,
and Rebecca.
I think that you're making it up.
Marco, she's right there.
This is a prank. It's a mass
Marco,
prank.
Cut it out.
But as I was trying to say, India, she said that she wanted to take charge, and she didn't take charge. She just kind of
what she was doing.
She just kind of bitched out,
She
and then
flamed out.
Adam was just like, I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed because India wanted to take over, and she didn't. And it's like, you're quiet too, you little soy boy!
Yeah, well, anyway, so remember, Rebecca chose Becca because she thought they would wipe the floor with everybody. Well, they were missing ingredients, and let's see, they undercooked their mushrooms. Their tuna was not cooked evenly. So that was two really bad things.
A lot of them had trouble with their mushrooms.
Yes, that was strange. And the crepes. Usually the crepes were undercooked or overcooked. And so that's the thing with Michael and Kimberly. They had everything timed out really well.
Kimberly, I don't know who that is.
I wish Marco would stop it. Well, they won.
She's not even there on the show.
So anyway, we're going to move on.
Who
we got to
is
say
Kimberly?
who got eliminated.
Who is that?
Well, Jeet and Adam, Becca and Rebecca were the worst. So Jeet got sent home. And Adam got to stay. And then, Rebecca and Rebecca were fine. And anyway, we'll go on to the next one. The next one is
But what about the grade, Safi? I gave a grade like 20 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
I give it a C+. It wasn't that good. What would you give it?
I give it a C.
Okay.
I didn't. They hardly show the food.
And
which
the food
indicate
doesn't
to
look
me
good.
I was going to say, indicate to me the food's not that good.
Yeah. This is kind of like, this is kind of like when you go to a restaurant in like a city you've never been to, and the restaurant is just not very good at all. And it's like, well, you're like, okay, well, I'm going to be here for a couple of days, so at least I'll try somewhere else tomorrow. Like that's what this season is. It's like the food's not good. The contestants aren't very good. I mean, they have like an invisible contestant who's not even there.
No, she is too.
No, she's not.
Watch the episode again.
Who is that?
Just
I don't know who that is.
Watch a little bit of the episode.
I watched the entire season,
Marco,
Safi.
she talks like a little girl.
She's not there. Who is that?
She is.
What is a Kimberly?
Marco, be quiet. So we're going to talk about the next episode. It's actually episode 13.
Yeah.
And what they have to do is
cook with coffee.
Something's brewing.
Yeah.
They have to do put some kind of coffee in their food, like anything. I can't remember how many examples of it there has to be. Maybe at least 2. I don't know. And before they started, though, Gordon got up and cooked. And this will be the final immunity pin, whoever wins this one. So he made some kind of filet mignon, again, with a coffee dry rub. Then he used a coffee au lait sauce and shallots and a with a flambe bourbon or something, I don't know. And so he just was showing them what kinds of things they could make with coffee. But Michael and Kimberly, because they had won the last challenge, they got to pick 2 people who and they would have to cook dessert and not a main dish. So everybody else, unless they chose to, but they wouldn't, because cooking a dessert in this time, and I think there was 45 minutes, not a whole 60, would be a lot more difficult because of the amount of time that they got. So they're actually picking on people they want to get out. And so they picked Adam and they picked Rebecca. And Rebecca is that boomer woman who's mouthy. And Adam. And so what happened was the best people were Kamei. She made a coffee rubbed lamb chop, couscous and carrots and sauce. Mudhead made a hanger steak with rice and pepper, but it was deconstructed, so it was something like, it looked like mush on a plate. I guess it was attractive looking mush. And then Warren made a coffee crusted veal, which is different. Nobody else has made veal, I don't think, the whole time. And cabbage. Now, Warren's cabbage was a little too tough, but they liked the coffee crusted veal. Mudhead, his was, they thought it was okay. They seemed to praise it, and he was surprised and happy, and he really thinks he's the best guy in the whole room now, which is not true. And Kamei, she used a Moroccan style dinner, but used coffee rubbed lamb chops, couscous, carrots, and sauce, and she won. Okay, now the worst. Remember, we have Adam and Rebecca, I'm sorry, and they didn't do well. And, like I said, they had picked them. And then Daniela, she was the other bad person. She made a chicken dish. So
she had undercooked chicken.
And that was just
that's
fat no.
Immediate elimination.
And Adam's pancetta, because this is some kind of a pancetta, which I wasn't sure what it was, but it's some kind of like a custard, so it's got to be set like Jell-O. It's like a what's that? We make pie.
And Joe was really sensitive about it because
he's Italian.
He's Italian,
and it's an Italian dish.
But this episode was also just kind of uninteresting, and Safi's uninteresting commentary just makes it even more uninteresting.
Well, Adam knew that it was a big gamble, but he thought it might just work. He put the pancetta in right away in the blast chiller, but even the judges said it would have been a good dessert because he had some kind of pears and a coffee sauce on it or something. And since the pancetta was more like a shake or something, and Joe had a cow and he drank it. This is just really a shake. This isn't what it's supposed to be. Well, he knew that. And
I was really hoping that Rebecca would go home. Gordon was really he was basically like trying to get involved so she wouldn't go home.
Yeah, he was.
He came over and he was like, "Oh shit." He's like one of the only people here who can actually cook once in a while. She's terrible and she's going to get sent home. And he was like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Here, you do this and do that. I just would do this and make sure, he was very concerned." And it was really funny because it's like, it just shows that like in this competition where everything is supposed to be honest and fair, they clearly know who they want to stay and who they want to get sent home.
Well, I think because they won't have anybody competitive in there. They think that these people will be better at the end than some of the others.
That's why you have an episode where people get a chance to come back.
Yeah.
Because you could easily do that, and then that girl who they sent home early on, who was the best person there, she would win and come back and win the show. Yeah, that's how it works in like a bad season. Like stuff like that'll happen.
And Rebecca made a crinkle cake. And when she said she was making a crinkle cake, I'm like, what the hell is a crinkle cake? I've never heard of that in my life. And I'm a boomer. And I don't care about that crap. But I've never heard of that in my life. So I don't know if it's a regional thing, like where she lives, it's a crinkle cake, and where I live, it's something else. And up on the northeast coast, it's something. And you know what I mean? Like it's a regional names for things. And But I looked it up on Pinterest, and it's made with, well, she did say this, and they said this, it's made with phyllo dough. And, oh God.
It's phyllo dough, Safi.
Phyllo, whatever. But
You're going to be eating
raw.
that. You're going to be eating that next week in the Greek festival. I think they use phyllo dough to make baklava.
Marco, are you serious?
Yeah. We missed the Lebanese festival, guys. Again. I forgot all about it, and I didn't research to see when it was. Phyllo dough is really good. It's really crunchy, crispy, and yeah, that's what they use for baklava.
Well, I don't know what happened, but it was raw. And so basically, so you have Daniela, Adam, and Rebecca. They did not want Adam and Rebecca to leave, apparently. But Adam, they did say his dish would have been good they said if it had 10 more minutes to set, then it would have been okay. And then Rebecca, nothing could have helped that, because they had showed a picture like at the beginning of a dish, and then they showed Adam and they showed her like a bad face, so I didn't know who it belonged to, but it was hers, and it looked like, I don't know, it was like weird. It looked like leftover food that's been left over for like 3 days or something. It just looked terrible. So anyway, Daniela, because her chicken was undercooked, she got sent home. And so that's it. So what was your review? Mine is
I haven't given it yet.
I'll just give it a C-.
I think it was just another gimmick episode, so I give it like a C. It really wasn't very interesting. What's going on now in every episode is that Adam will screw up, and he's like one of the only good chefs there, and you really don't want him to get sent home. So the whole episode you have a stomach ache because you're like, you don't want him to go home, and then some other mediocre chef gets sent home, and it's just like, it's very repetitive this season. It's very mediocre. I give it a C.
I gave it a C-. But anyway, they did show next week. They'll show a little bit, and they showed him, and he had a bad look on his face. So
he always has a bad look on his face.
I just don't know what's going on with him, because I don't know. Maybe just Marco said at the very beginning, he just hasn't had enough experience. He is used to cooking for a whole bunch of people and being under stress, because he's got to. And that's a helpful thing too, both of those, because he cooks for so many people, and they have a certain meal time. It has to be certain times, because they have to go do their work, and they're employees, and it's like a big group, and so he also is going for them, and he's the cook, but. Just there's certain things. I think it's just like you said, it's a maturity thing, because he doesn't take the lead, and maybe he isn't as confident as he should be.
Also, we are 1 subscriber away from 600 subscribers.
And I'm not doing something goofy. So, I think this time Marco should be the one that does.
What do you
something
mean?
Goofy.
Do something goofy?
Or we really do something that's valuable. Or
what do you
good,
mean?
Or fun,
what
or
do you mean?
whatever.
Like what?
I don't know, something to do with Halloween.
We're going to be reviewing quite a few things. It's funny because this year, we're finally not going to have all these different horror shows that we have to watch. Probably the only show that we'll be watching is that Grotesquerie show. Other than that, and the...
What about Beetlejuice?
The Menendez Brothers show.
Oh.
But not a TV show.
Oh.
There's no Chucky. There's no American Horror Story. There's like nothing except for these crappy, and everything's a sequel or remake. They have a Salem's Lot remake with they race swapped.
Remake?
They race swapped the teenage character, so now he's a little black boy, and that was really important to do for some reason. And then straight to streaming movie with the race swapping. That's always a good sign. You have the Beetlejuice. You have the Joker sequel where they turned it into a faggoty musical that nobody wants.
A musical?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Lady Gaga and him are gonna sing
Lady
together.
Gaga and whom?
Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
What?
They're gonna sing together in
Are you
a
serious?
shitty ass musical that nobody asked for. Yeah.
Oh.
And I got really pissed off at that because I was one of the people who said they should make a sequel because it felt like the first movie of three movies of like where he would eventually become the clown prince of crime Joker, and you could have a crime trilogy with this Joker, but instead, oh no, let's make it a musical and let's bring in Harley Quinn. And Lady Gaga has said that this Harley Quinn isn't going to really be like Harley Quinn, so basically it's not even...
I can't see her being like, oh, she's just writing it. She's not going to be the Harley Quinn, right?
Yeah, she is.
I just don't see it.
But
That's why she's saying she's not.
Yeah, she's going to be basically like a different character disguised as Harley Quinn. And then, I can't remember what other stupid horror movie is going to... Oh yeah, the stupid Terrifier 3. You know, that shitty-ass clown series that's really overrated with the final girl who can't get hurt. You know, like, that movie's also going to be, like, over 2 hours, Safi. It's going to be almost as long as Terrifier 2. So, you know, they didn't learn any lessons. They just say, fuck you, we can do whatever we want. And it's like, oh, you just make shitty-ass movies. That's what you do. So
anyway, we'll think about what's going on. So about this 600 subscribers.
Yeah, you want to play Matchmaker again, Safi?
What?
You want to play Matchmaker again, Safi?
No.
Why
I'm
not?
not doing that.
You didn't even do
I told you I'm not doing another goofy
but
thing.
you didn't even do a good video. Like
I
that
don't care.
That video isn't even usable, Safi. Like it was just like 40 minutes of gibberish.
Because I don't want to do it. And I'm not doing that. That's not entertaining.
It's like, it is entertaining.
No, it isn't. I'm not doing it. I just told you I'm not doing it.
Everyone asked for it.
I don't care.
Everyone wanted it. They voted in it.
I'm not doing it.
They voted on it.
No.
50 votes to 0.
I'm not going to do it. And that's bullshit. I'm not doing it.
They voted on it.
I'm not doing it. I want to do something fun that's good. Not
it is
something
fun.
Boring. It's not fun for me.
It's fun and hilarious, Safi.
I don't care. I'm not doing it.
It's fun and hilarious.
Hey, Marco, you can go F yourself. I'm not doing that.
Why?
Okay, everybody, you like this video, give it a thumbs up and become one of our subscribers. And try to suggest something that's good.
They did. They voted on it.
Well, it's not. I don't like it, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it again. It was a pain in the ass.
You didn't even do it.
I don't have time to do that.
You didn't even do it. You said that Dakota Fanning is bad because she laughs too much. It was really weird. You did weird stuff like that, and that's why the video hasn't been released yet, because it was just so bad.
Oh, good. I don't want to do it.
It was like a big waste of time. It was like a panty waste video.
Whatever. Okay, goodbye, everybody.
I didn't say goodbye.
Well, you can sit there and talk about stupid stuff.
Goodbye!